Okay. There's Kale. Where
Hey,
am I?
Tyler.
There I am. Hi. Oh my gosh. Season 1 finale of the Unfiltered podcast. It is Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Super Bowl Sunday. For those who keep track of football, we definitely do. Right, pal?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. This should be a national holiday, dude.
It should be a national holiday.
Because I think if you look at it, it's the most called in sick. Monday is like the most called in day of the year.
True that, man. Because, because it's just going to. Well, I got a crazy Sunday coming up. I'm here with you with my best friend, and I'll give you the intro. Like, I'm not as good as Bruce Buffer or anybody like that, but. And then I got to join Ryan Justice for the post Super Bowl show.
Nice.
At R&R Bar in Amarillo. So, yeah. I
Where's
know.
R&R?
It's on the, right when you go on Georgia and then you turn right onto 6th Street.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we definitely don't go to bars, so, like, both of us would get lost on the way. So.
Sure.
But, hey, let me give an introduction. This is not only one of my best friends. There's like tiers of friends that I have. Like, Kale, you are on the S tier, my friend.
That's great to hear, man. I appreciate that. I feel the same. The respect goes both ways for me and you, buddy.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Not only have you excelled in the world of TV and excelled in the world of print, but man, you're killing it with Press Pass Sports, pal. So I think in your words, I hate to put you, Johnny, on the spot, but how would you describe yourself? Like, how would you introduce yourself to people? Like, if you were just like walking into a cocktail party, not that we go to cocktail parties, but like.
That's a great question, Tyler, because it's always hard to talk about yourself, right?
It is.
I guess I've always been a guy that's, to describe myself as, that's a hard question, but somebody that's just always wanting to learn and grow, right? Yeah. I think I've always told you that. And somebody that's wanting to earn, I think it's more just earning people's respect. That's all I've always wanted to do. It's hard to earn people's respect in this business. It's a very egotistical business. It's a business that's always about you, and I, not you per se, but the you in you. So just want to earn people's respect, man, and just let them know that you're always there to care, and you're always there to really do your job to the best of your ability and make the story not about you. It's about the stories that you tell. So I guess if you're asking me, that's how I try to describe it the best I could. If that makes sense, man.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, and I do want to kick out a disclaimer for any young aspiring journalist. Man, this is the place you got to tune into, because Kale has so much. I mean, yeah, we could say like, oh yeah, there's so many more treasure troves out there, but like Kale, say what you will about Drake, but started from the bottom and now we're here, right?
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. I literally started from the bottom of the business, man, to to where I'm at today, which you're always trying to grow. So you're never wanting to be at the top of where you want to be, because you always want to, like you and I, we're always trying to be innovative. We're always trying to get better. And that's one thing I've always respected about you, because you've always listened to anybody. One thing about Tyler that anybody listens to you on this podcast is you've always taken advice. You've never been too good to not take advice. And I love that about you, because I'm the same way. You're never the smartest person, right? And you don't want to be. You don't want to be. No, you don't want to be.
CJ and I call ourselves cavemen when we have crash out connoisseurs. So
there you go. Well, the best thing about you is, you always asked me for advice when you were getting into this business. You've always took the advice and you've learned from it, man. Like, look what you do. You do a podcast. You're a writer. You know how to do video. I mean, you are a multimedia journalist, which was what I consider myself now in this day and age. Yeah. Which 20 years ago I didn't consider myself. I just consider myself a TV sports person or a TV news person or a videographer. Now you have to be everything, because this fluid world of where we are at today with social media, with local news, with national news. It's ever growing, and I don't think it's going to stop. And we'll never know. Everybody just throws stuff on the wall to see if it sticks, and there's really no right or wrong. Well, there is, if you ask me.
There is. I agree.
Right. But everybody's doing their thing, and my job, to me, at my age, I'm 46. I want to make sure that job's being done right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think nowadays, like, it's so easy to get in, but as far as like evolving and trying to I know we're really jumping in heavy topics, but
yeah, we did. We kind of went right into it, didn't we?
Hey, we sure did.
Yeah, that's okay though.
That is definitely okay. I would say, yeah, it's easy to get in, but it's challenging to climb the ladder, because it's not about what you know. Because if you flaunt about what you know, well, the veterans don't like that all too much. I liken it to a pro wrestling locker room where you keep the ears and eyes open, and you take advice, and you try to get better. I mean, that's what we lived by. And then when you because it's such an easy entry point, but also it's challenging to go up the ladder, because it's tough to go, especially with as many introverts there are sometimes. You got to be a little bit extrovert when you got to know when to be like, all right, it's party time. I gotta suit up and get ready to go. I think it's one thing to get in, but it's another thing to be like, hey, look to a veteran, look to somebody with some experience, and then ask them some questions. Not like Johnny on the spot, but maybe a quiet moment. Like, I think a good example sometimes is, a rain delay for a baseball game, or a lightning delay during a football game, and there's nothing else to do up in the press box. So, it's, hey, why don't I turn over to Kale and ask him, hey, what's your thoughts on this? Or, hey, can you give me some feedback on this when you have some free time? As much as there are egos, and I've dealt with plenty of egos, that's why I'm like, I'm tired, boss. Like, after 10 years of full-time journalism, but yeah, it's but if you find the right people, then you really fall in love with it. You really care for it. You gatekeep it a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like at my age now, I'm more of I try to not be that guy. But
yeah,
you and I both at our age, you see some of the, just because they have a Twitter account doesn't make them a journalist, and you really want to gatekeep this because you're proud of it, of being a journalist. It means something to you. Mm-hmm. And you can see somebody just come in and all of a sudden they're a journalist, and you're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. It didn't make you that way. You have to me, you have to earn your stripes, like you were saying. I think ego in this business is good and bad. I think you need a little confidence, you need a little stroke to be good at your job. Mm-hmm. But I think it also could be your biggest downfall. I think in your 20s, like you and I, we knew everything, right? But at the same time, when we could solve all those world's problems, you and I were smart enough at that time to latch on to mentors. And that's one thing you and I have always been fortunate to have, is very good mentors. And I think anybody that's young now, take Corin Davis, for example.
Yeah, we had Corin a few weeks ago.
I know, that's where I was going with this. I watched her show with you. And take Kate, she's a sports reporter. Corin came in at 18 years old and just listened. And I was like, okay, good. And then you watched her progress and grow through listening. If it wasn't me she was listening to, it was Clint, or it was Lance, or it was Passport. Even Passport help, even now, there's things you can help her with. But that's the best thing about Corin. At 18 years old, she came in and just listened. And I was like, that I can't even tell you when you didn't come in and you didn't try to say, I know. You just said, how can I get better?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're missing a lot in today's world. And yeah, I sound like an old man yelling at clouds all the time, but it's just so sometimes simple is best, Tyler, as you know. It's just progressing and listening.
Right. And, you know, when I came into certain places, like if I had like, you know, people around me, it's like, how can I compliment you? And especially nowadays with so many, I mean, it'll always be a thing where there's always going to be young journalists that'll come in, you know, like fresh from WT or fresh from the one I had in Rapid City. He was fresh from the University of Montana. Another one was fresh from the University of Florida. And it's all about, okay, all right, how can I get them going? And the best thing I did was just be like, all right, you're going to go, and then apply your stuff, and then I'm going to give you feedback. And then I was like, hey, at the end of but my number one rule when it came to like my teammates that I worked with was don't be discouraged. Because to me, they did things the right way. You know, I know like it sounds like it's like, oh man, I went to school, I got the bachelor's degree, but you really don't need that either. Like you just need a great mentor and a willingness to learn. I was fortunate to be, you know, to go to you, and then I had Lance, and then Passmore, and then also like to some degree, like Lee Baker and Clint Breakville.
Yeah, Baker, man, doesn't get enough credit for what he to me.
Doesn't. He's so underrated.
Yeah. Well, it's because of who he is, man. You talk about an eagle as person. Baker is just, one of my greatest friends in life, kind of like a father figure to me.
Yeah.
If you have somebody like that in your life, that's him. He's an awesome person because he's just always there for you. And he doesn't really mentor in the way, he's not a leader by example. He just does it in ways that he doesn't even know. You know, and I think more of it is because he's an encyclopedia of sports, and that's helpful. But what he taught me the most is keeping things simple. You know, all of us are very good at muddling things or trying to make things overcomplicated. And Baker was so good at just it's this easy. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it is this. And that's how he approached everything, and it made it easier for us or for somebody like me. You know how you and I are the same way when we try to write, and I've seen it with you. You started explaining to me what you're going to write, and I'm like, Tyler, it's this simple.
And keep the KISS method.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. And
yeah.
I think we all get bogged down in that a little bit. But that's one thing Baker really taught me very well.
Yeah, and it even translates like a lot of people like simplicity because the world's complicated enough. Like a real good real life example. A really good real life example was I went in to interview Jason Scotch.
Yeah.
I know. I never thought I'd be shouting out Coach Scotch on the Unfiltered podcast, but here we are.
How many F-bombs you get in that interview?
Oh, not a lot, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, like he was always so good at like he was a quote machine. Like I remember like when I was in college, like 3/4 of the page would be his quote. Like he would go.
Hey, try being in TV and trying to get 20 seconds out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I finished up with an interview with him because I was doing a story, and he gave me a really, like, in retrospect, a really great compliment. He was like, Tyler, like, I really like your storytelling. You keep it simple. Even though it's simple, it's really well done. If you can keep it, I think that's the biggest thing is if you can keep it simple and just be great at doing it, like, people are none the wiser. Like,
that's a great point, Tyler. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's me. You and me are cut from the same cloth on that. My verbiage isn't strong. I'm not an English major, right? I like to tell. I'm a huge storyteller like you, and I think that's why we like pro wrestling.
Yeah,
right. Because we love
we'll get into that here in a bit.
Excuse me, getting over a cold. But I think we love story, and I've always been a fan of it. If it's a movie or a book, and it's got me intrigued, then I'm going to love it. But when I tell a story, whether it's a game story or a feature story, it's not deep. And maybe I'm not an author, but I like to get the point across. But I'm not going to try to bog somebody down into 4,000 words, because especially today, and I would love to if it was still print. Trust me. But today, people are so quick to just read and get it done, right? Like they want, what do you call it, the summary. So I've kind of made my writing more simple, because I feel like to the writer or to the reader, it's more fair. And maybe if it's right or wrong, I don't know. But still, Tyler, I don't know how you feel about it, but reading 1,000 words is easier when you're on the go with your phone than it is trying to read 4,000 words.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Again, I don't think there's a right or wrong, because the best writer I know is Lance Honor, right? Or John Mark Blue, Lee Passport. And they can write for 3,000 words, and I'm hooked on every word of it, right? Yeah. But I don't. It's hard. I'm not as good as verbiage. I'm not a wordsmith like those guys are.
Right? Yeah. Those guys are incredible. Yeah. Like Lance has really great hooks to like hook you in. You know, John Mark, like he'll keep you hanging on every word.
Yeah, Lance is to me. Lance lives through his words. You know Lance as well as I do. He's passionate. I've never met a guy more passionate than what he writes. So everything that goes on the page is him.
Yeah.
Does that, so he, like, every story he writes is the greatest story he's ever been a part of. And that's a great thing. I mean, that's a great thing. And you see the passion drip off of onto the page for him. And then Lee is just so analytical and so matter of fact, that you can read that into Lee's writing, and he's so bold. Yeah. And I wish I was as bold as Lee.
Yeah, me too. Because Lee's he is very much a numbers guy. Like, he loves his numbers.
And he's matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know he did the greatest thing a few years ago? You were still in Iowa or South Dakota. No, you were in Iowa still.
Yeah, Iowa. Yeah. And
so Stratford plays, you probably heard the story by now, but Stratford plays Panhandle. And Bryce Braden's the quarterback for Stratford. And they run quarterback power for like 20 plays in a row, right? And they beat Panhandle that way. So in the article, Lee wrote, Stratford became painfully predictable but brutally efficient.
Ooh.
It's the greatest line. And Matt Lovern, the head coach, and those guys put it on a T-shirt. Right?
Nice.
And it's painfully predictable, brutally efficient. Because they ran the same play over and over, but it was brutally efficient, right?
It was.
But it was painfully predictable. So when I went to two-a-days the next August, there's one of their assistant coaches, Casey Lanelmy, and Tyler Wright, wearing a shirt, and it read "painfully predictable, brutally efficient - Lee Passport."
I hope they gave Lee a shirt from that, because
they need to. He needs to get royalties off that shirt.
Yeah, he does, because that is totally Stratford Elks football.
That is, dude. Painfully predictable, brutally efficient. It's a perfect line for them.
Yeah, like, I'll go on a tangent for a second. So Stratford is very, like, they are very blue collar football. They got those big boys up front, and they're going to be like, okay, all right, we're going to come at you. You're going to like it, or you're going to stop it. And
or you're not going to like,
they don't get cute. Like, that's what's nice about Stratford.
No, they're a throwback team, and their job is open right now. At this moment, their football job. And I talked to Eddie Metcalf yesterday, their former legendary coach.
Yeah.
And then they're starting interviews. But the thing is with them, that's a tough job, because if you come in from the outside, you can't change anything.
No.
If you're in from the inside, it's like, well, you're held to this standard because you're here. I mean, that's a hard job, man, because of just how prestigious of a job it is.
It is. Yeah. And I remember, this is when I was in Dumas. I know we're going on the tangent, but we're riding the tangent. It's so good.
Dude, you did a great job. By the way, you did a great job when you worked in Dumas. I was proud of you and I say that because that's where you really broke out on your own.
Yeah.
And you really found, I think to me, that's where you started finding who you were as a writer.
Right. Yeah.
It's my opinion.
It helps when you write about 3 or 4 stories, like, you write probably about 10 stories a week, and then you're just you stop thinking, you just start doing. Like, you start feeling the flow, and you could tell that, like, and this actually leads to a really good point. So when I was in Lake City, I was writing just about everything. Like, I was writing news, I was writing features, I was writing sports. And I had it was like one of the county officials. She was head of the county health department. And super nice lady. I really like the family. The Rileys are awesome. She was like, how do you keep things different every single story? And it's just, you give a little thought to it, but you don't overthink it. You just do. That's what I always try to do when I was in Lake City. I was like, oh yeah, just keep it switched up a little bit, and then people will be like, oh, how do you keep it so different? How do you keep it so fresh? And I'm like, well, like, you just try to just be like, hey, I'm gonna just try like a different lead this time. Or like, nice thing is there's context with things, or you can bring up like a past event and then you fold it into the present event. The event that just took place. So, I mean, that always helps. There's so many angles to go about it. Because, like, with Stratford, you can do history, like, especially with the coaching search, is like, man, who's gonna be the next name, along with,
Eddie Metcalf, Matt Lover, now John Murray. They haven't gone outside since 1995, man.
Wow.
I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
You brought something up here, Tyler, real quick. You brought something up where it's trying new things with leads. I think that's the hardest part for me right now is you and I do the same thing a lot because I'm a one-man machine. I mean, I have you and I have Passmore. I'm not complaining. But when you write the same things, like I do standings all the time or basketball all the time, I get in a rut, man. And I'm always trying to find out you talk about how to be innovative. Mm-hmm. That's the hardest thing for me right now is trying to figure out how to be innovative and try new leads and try new features. It's hard, man. That's a hard thing, especially when you've been doing this as long as we have. I'm in a little rut right now myself, so I'm trying to figure that out.
That's okay. I mean, I've always learned that the best way to get out of the rut is just keep writing.
Sure. No, it's like a good shooter, right?
Yeah.
A good shooter on an off night.
Yeah.
Just keep shooting.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're 0 for 10. Just keep throwing them up, man.
If you're Steph Curry, man, keep throwing them up. But, yeah. So I think one of the coolest stories has to be the origin of Press Pass Sports in itself. Because I remember I wanted to do this about 10 years ago. With the Liger's Den, which has since become like a column of mine at different places. The Rapid City Journal didn't like the fact that I used the Liger's Den, but so they used like Anderson and then colon and then whatever I wrote. But
it's print. It's corporate. You got to watch that.
Oh yeah. And I was like, all's forgiven. It's their show, not mine. I wanted to do like a podcast, but it took me 10 years to be like, hey, like maybe instead of like yapping to myself on Audacity and then just posting it every week on Spotify and just hoping and praying that like somebody listens to it to now to where it's like, hey, it's either recorded or it's live streamed. And then along with, bringing on my friends and my contacts from my time, from my time in sports and from my time in journalism, and beyond, like, and even time in pro wrestling to like now where it's like, wow, like I know so many people I can bring on to Unfiltered and, and allow people to kind of enjoy, not only like my friends, like, because I think my friends are and this is with everybody, like it's like everybody thinks that like, hey, my friends are the most interesting friends in the world. And I really do believe that. Like
well, that's why you're friends with them.
Yeah. because they're super interesting. Like,
I wouldn't hang out with you if you're boring.
Yeah.
To me, I mean,
please tell me I'm boring. But no.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I feel like I've went on so many adventures with all my friends that I can tell some of the adventures. But anywho, but Press Pass Sports kind of, I don't want to beat my chest too much about it, and feel free to correct me. But like, I know when you were like, man, that's kind of a cool idea to do a podcast. And then boom, Press Pass was born. And then it evolved into a multimedia like outlet. It was really cool just to see it evolve. But okay, in your words, like, what inspired you to get Press Pass Sports going?
Yeah, I got in the media when. Let me just back this up, okay?
Yeah.
I got into media when I was like 20, 21 years old. TV. And I never thought I'd do anything but TV. That's all I ever wanted to do, man. When I was a kid, I was like TV reporting, right? I was a news reporter, sports anchor. And then when I was a sports anchor, I could tell I was a weekend anchor for Lee Baker. And we always talk about growing and getting better. I felt like I was at that point stuck because Baker wasn't going anywhere. I mean,
no.
Think about it, Tyler. This was 2012, right? 13. He wasn't even close. So I was like, I got to go somewhere. I got to learn. I got to get better at something. So Lance Lawnert gave me an opportunity at the Globe News. Well, that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I learned how to be a reporter. I learned how to be a journalist at the Globe News, to really go in deep, build relationships, which I think today 70% of this job is building relationships. And that's where Press Pass is going to come in here in a minute. Well, when the Globe News started fading downhill fast through corporate, and Lance left, and I was like, and it was just Lee and I remember sitting at my desk and I'm like, this is not good. I could do this. I worked at TV for ever. I worked in print now. I can do this. Why can't I just do this on my own? And I was like, and Steve Forrest and I had started a podcast together. And it wasn't called Press Pass. It was just like Steve and Kale's podcast.
Oh, okay.
We just talked sports. Yeah, it wasn't Press Pass. And then Craig and I started doing one together, and we just thought of the name. And I thought, what a better name than Press Pass, because I'm a journalist. I'm going to show you. I'll give you a press pass to what the media. It's like a play on words, right?
Yeah.
To media. Here's a press pass behind what I do to what you see every day. Through media eyes. So Craig and I started. Now we're over on the podcast. We're over like 600 episodes. Well, then I already had a name set. So when Ben Jenkins, Junkyard Jenkins and I one day sat down in 2019 in the summer and got on Wix and just built this website out on Wix program. Two guys that didn't know what they were doing. And we launched it in August of 2019. We survived COVID, which was awful.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, we didn't have any sports for a long time. It was hard to sit at your house and there's nothing, you know how it was. But we knew, or I knew that I knew the area. I grew up here. I knew the coaches. So I was like, why not? Why not just do it my own, and it's been a good thing. And it's growing every year. And that's the best part about it. And then I got with Joe Garcia a few years ago. And, Joe's great at technology, something I'm not good at.
Yeah.
And he's, you saw me trying to get on your show this morning. Joe's
compared to some other guests, you were painless. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Joe's great at what he does, and he's a great photographer, as you know. And so then we've added you, Lee Passport. We got Roy Wheeler, Carter Pirtle, David Erickson, Alicia Chavez that helps out. There's other people. I'm going to miss somebody, so I don't want to keep going because it's nothing personal.
Right.
There's so many people that are just willing to help, and I think that's awesome. And we just want to provide the best coverage we can, man.
And it takes a village too. Like,
it does. And people are willing to work with us because the budget, we're still working on growing and getting more money, and it's hard to grow sponsorships. It's hard to grow. We've got subscriptions, and people have been upset with that. But when it was the Globe News back in '99, you wouldn't have batted an eye at a subscription.
No.
But people, when they made the internet, they made it free, and that was a big mistake. And they shouldn't have made things free back then. And
sure,
now you're expecting things free. And I had to start it off free because I had to get people knowing what it was.
Yeah.
And we don't, I mean, would I like to not have subscriptions? Sure. But this is a business at the end of the day. And we're not asking much from it, man. $35 a year, that's nothing.
That's a drop in the bucket compared to
Thank you.
subscriptions like for other
It's
places.
not $35 a month, right?
No. I remember dropping like, and I worked for the Rapid City Journal, and I was dropping $15 a month just so I can access the articles.
For your own paper?
Yeah. And Lee Enterprises would not compensate me, and I was like, okay, are we serious? Anywho, although...
But anyway, that's just how, you wanted to know how it started. That's how it's going. Man, I am so glad that you help and are a part of it, because, dude, the first thing I thought of when I started this was, God, it'd be great to have Tyler here. You got that. It was one of the first thoughts in my mind. In fact, Ben Arbuckle told me, you'll love this. Ben calls me and goes, how great is it for you to have Tyler back? And I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, it's great,
for the
man.
Offensive coordinator at the University of Oklahoma would be like, man. And I remember you called him when we were on our way down to McKinney, and it's like, oh, Tyler Anderson.
He's like, you love having Tyler back. Yeah, I do, because one, here's the thing, man. You're a Swiss Army knife, and I'll take having that all day, man. And you're a good friend, and a great friend, and you're a great writer. And you're great, and you're a great photographer, and you're great at video. You're a triple threat, man, and I love that.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game I play sometimes. And then I think what I also I've really taken up with life after full-time journalism.
Sure.
Is like I'm starting to kind of get the hang of YouTube and starting to. I mean, I knew about OBS before, and that's the system that, helps run a live stream or whatever, or helps record a show like this. And I knew it before when I tried to stream, and, I was like, oh man, maybe I could be a halfway decent, gamer and, play, some video games, and maybe I gain an audience that way. Then I think last year, because... And I give Sweeze all the credit in the world, even though Sweeze he gets into ruts too, personal ruts. But we love Tanner. He's America's Sweezeheart. Yeah, that was coined by Dave the Thinker, by the way. And shout out to Dave, because I enjoy Dave. But when he started the Sweeze and Swizzle podcast, and they started doing vlogs of visiting random restaurants in Borger, Texas. I was like, you know what? I can do that too. It doesn't have to be vlogs or anything. Maybe we could branch out to that someday when people want, something different and they want a tour guide. But I was like, I could do a podcast, and I can, I know enough friends. I have plenty of friends that, let's bring them in and have them share their story. It doesn't have to always be about me.
As a host, it shouldn't be about you.
No. Oh no. I need to think about that when I'm on with CJ, because both of us like to come in and we like to analyze videos or certain things, but no. I've had so many inspirations, Kale, you were one of them. Lance is another. Sweeze in his own little way, he inspired me to be like, let's start a podcast. And also Press Pass Sports was always a big part of that as well. So it's and then 26 episodes, one full television season.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying? Let me ask you this. I'll be the interviewer for a minute.
Sure.
I can do this. How have you enjoyed this being a podcast host, man? Are you having fun?
It is fun. It's work, because you do have to reach out to people, and sometimes you have to
readjust schedules,
which I don't mind. I've learned that, hey, something came up, life happens. The wife would love to have a dinner date. Well, hey, that's all good. We'll just reschedule another time. And, you maneuver a little bit. Oh gosh, what was it? A few weeks ago, Squared Circle Pro, I was going to do an SCP hangover and recap the show. And, well, a snowstorm happened and we didn't have a show. So I was just like, well, let's just do, like, it was more so Tyler Liger and Friend. But I was like, well, let's do a Tyler Liger and Friends and just do a hangout. And we just shoot the breeze for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And, of course, Rick always comes in clutch. Kale, you know about Rick, but
I like Rick a lot. I think Rick does a great job.
He does a fantastic job. And
I like listening to him here on your show. I like he brings a lot of good points too.
Yeah. Just don't bring up the X-Men because he has, I know, comic books. We're here for sportsball today. But you know, Kale, I think you're a man of many talents. What do you think is kind of your strong, your strongest suit? Because I'll tell you what I believe is your strongest suit is you can network, and you know so many people because you've helped me out on so many stories. Like I'll paint a picture for our audience and our listeners. Lance will give me a story and he'll be like, this is when I was with the Globe News, and he, hey Tyler, I need you to do a feature on, and Lance loves features.
Features is one of his favorite words back then. Yeah.
Well, we need to do a feature on this, and we need to do a feature on that.
I love your Lance impersonation.
Just wait until we get Lance on the show. I'll give him his own. I'll give him his own impression. But hey, Tyler, we gotta do a feature on this kid from Valley.
Oh, I'm like, Jake Merrill, I remember this. Yeah, I remember
and
that
I'm
story.
like, oh, okay, no problem. I need you to go to Panhandle and cover a track meet. And that's like, okay, cool. And then, of course, like after I get done with that conversation with Lance, you slide in and you're like, hey, man, here's some phone numbers. Here's some people that you can contact. And I was like, that helps me out so much. Because, like when I was starting, I was like, thankfully, like now I know enough about the Panhandle to know like the history and the really good teams and the teams that are going on, that are making history. Maybe they've kind of struggled for a while, like Claude football. And then
it's good to see them better now.
It's good to see them a lot better, especially six man. Like I saw them earlier this summer, and I was there with Craig Speary. Shout out Craig. I was the team I was most impressed with when I was walking out of the scrimmages in Groom. Claude. I was like, I think Claude's gonna have a good year, and I think I called it, but
yeah. Well, you asked me about my strength, and I would say you're right, man. Building relationships is something that I've always put a lot of effort into. I probably have 1,500 numbers in my phone, and I bet 800 of them are coaches. It just because that's how I was taught, though, man. I mean, a lot of guys, mentors, have said building relationships is so important to this job. So I thought, okay. Plus, they're not just contacts to me; they're friends. You get to know these people, and you get to talk to them, and then you really care about them, man, because they become your friends. So you actually start texting them about life situations, and they become they become somebody you don't just text them for information.
Yeah.
Like Greg Prophet at Wellington, I could call him and just talk for an hour, right? Anybody around here, any coach, you could just basically they're your friend now, and they trust you. And that was another thing is getting them to trust, because the national media has made it to where everybody is so scared of the media that we're all bad. We're all bad guys. We're all after you to tell your negative story. That's not us on a local level. I've never been after anybody to tell their negative story or to dig the dirt, right? As you would say, is that what you say? The scoop?
Yeah,
that's not
get the scoop.
Yeah, I was like that a little bit earlier in my career, but not now. I'm more now as just build the trust and let them know that I'm not out to screw them, and I'm just out to help. And even on these coaching searches, when I call about these coaching searches, I'm not trying to get names. I'm not trying to get hey, call me tomorrow. Let me know who the head coach is. I'm just trying to keep up with what's going on because that's part of your job, right? But
yeah,
I think it's just building relationships, right? Because like now I can call Bo Dickinson and Muleshoe. What that one's not fair because I've known Bo forever, but I can call. Here's one. You like this? We stretched down the Lubbock area this year. Okay, we're doing more Lubbock schools than we have in the past, and Idalou head coach Clay White and I have built a relationship this year because he's appreciative of the coverage. I'm appreciative of all the help he's given me. But that's bonded a relationship to where we can now call each other and we're friends.
Yeah.
And now I could call him on a Tuesday morning and we can sit there and talk for 30 minutes.
Nice. And
football.
He's such a great guy too.
He's a great dude, man. Yeah. And that's another thing. These guys are great dudes. And what coaches do for kids, I think, is so underestimated, to begin with. But that's probably my strongest quality. I would say my weakest quality, if you were going to ask me that,
sure,
is trying to, let me think here. How do I say it? Try to be like I'm a good rider. I'm a strong rider, but I'm not a great rider. And I'm still trying to get to that level of being a great rider. And I think that's my weakest point of who I am.
Okay.
In the journalistic world.
Yeah. Yeah. But also at the same time, you don't have to be the greatest writer to be a respected writer by any means.
No. And I got, I'm a good writer. I can tell a story and you can, and I can tell a story with anybody, but I would like to be a better one. And I think that's, again, goes back to what you and I always talk about is getting better every day.
Yep.
I've always told you that. And never being satisfied. I never want to be satisfied. Even at 46, man, I want to grow and I want to get better every single day and I want to innovate. And like today, doing this is making me better because I haven't done something like this. I've done Zooms, right? Yeah. But I haven't been the guest on a podcast like this. This is fun for me and I'm learning a lot, learning how to speak better. So I appreciate you.
Oh, well, hey, I'll say this again and again and again. I'll say it over and over. I appreciate you, pal. I think, you learn a little bit from someone, not only from interacting with them personally, or interacting with them on social media. It comes from actually going on a show with them and then being like, okay, let's just have a conversation, maybe we'll ask some questions, we'll ask each other a few things, odds and ends. But, I got to really know CJ through working Crash Out Connoisseurs. And, I tuned into him when he was on YouTube. The YouTube gods were not very kind to him and unexplainable. But no, it was, where am I going with this? I know
you're getting old, Tyler.
I know. Hey, it's the Unfiltered podcast. I can wonder out loud. But no, CJ's really helped me because he's aware of YouTube and the algorithm. He knows, hey, this is what you can do on YouTube. This is what you can't do. And he learned it firsthand. So it's he's giving me advice and, and I feel like I've grown more of a friendship with CJ through I feel like, you can only do so much on texting each other back and forth. It's when you really get on the show and you really start talking with them and you start.
I think talking, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, it's okay. No,
I apologize. Good. I think talking is such a lost art today because we're so accustomed to just texting. And nobody wants to just call each other and have a conversation. I love talking on the phone. I have those 4 or 5 people that I could just call. Like Bo Dickinson is the guy. It's Sunday at 3:00 and I ain't doing anything. And I can just call Bo and next thing you know, it's 4:30. And you have people like that you could call. And I love talking on the phone. And I love talking to people in person like you. I could talk to you all day, Tyler. You come over to the house, my dogs sit on your lap.
Yeah.
We watch wrestling and we talk for 4 hours. That's what we do. But it's just fun. I think it's such a lost art that people just talk to each other. And I'm still a fan of that. I would rather talk to you than text message. Unless it's just something really quick, right? Something information wise, hey, what was your score tonight? I'm not going to call you for that. But and to hear you say that's refreshing because, and again, doing this, just sitting here talking is a good thing because think about too on a text message. How many times, even I've had this too, where you read it wrong and all of a sudden we're in an argument because we read a text message wrong.
Yeah.
We're like,
that happens a lot.
I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it like that.
It's like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, and then sometimes like when you do that, you have to call them and be like, all right, hey, first of all, sorry, like,
Sure.
and then here's what I meant. And then most people are like, oh, okay. Like, and then they kind of cool off a little bit, they cool the jets, but
yeah. So that's another reason that talking is such a good thing. But again, that's more me again, being 46 years old and wanting to talk to people.
Well, also the best bit of advice along with somebody I don't mention enough, Jim Lexa.
Oh, Jim Lexa was
Jim
fantastic.
Lexa. Oh,
that's a guy that for notice for here on the show. Jim Lexa worked with us at the Globe News, longtime sports writer, worked on the copy desk, just a tremendous writer.
Yeah,
and great editor.
What a great editor. I always feel like Lance, he was the sports editor, and then but you really have to get stuff past Jim.
Yes, to earn his respect went a long way with me.
Yeah. One of the best bits I got from Jim was, and it was more of out of frustration. He was like, "We're in the communication business and we can't communicate."
It's true. So true, man.
He was the guy that taught me time, date, location goes in a certain way, and yes. I kept that forever.
Yeah, time, day, location. I had this conversation with Craig the other day. Yeah. Craig wrote an article. Craig Speary, who does a great job, man. He's learning how to write. I'm proud of him. But he writes and he wrote it backwards, and I'm like, it's time, day, location.
Yeah, always.
So he wrote it again, and he wrote location, date, and time. Craig, killing me, dude. Time, day, location. Put it on a Post-it.
Yeah, just TDL. That's why I call it the TDL.
Yes,
the TDL rule. And I've taught some people that too. I was like, it's super easy. Time, date, location, and then if you learn that rule, everything else comes easy.
Hey, you want to get on a soapbox real quick?
Oh,
what else? What else? Hey, Peter Griffin. You know what else grinds my gears, Tyler? Is when people send in scores. And they send the losing team first, White Deer 52, LaForce 56. Oh my God, just nails on a chalkboard. It's 56. You always put the winning team first.
Yeah.
And the home team goes last or on the bottom. And I'm like, and people don't, or this is my last rant. Okay.
Oh no, you can rant away.
Or the difference between postponed and canceled. Okay.
Yes, because people mess that up.
Oh, okay. The game got snow. Okay, we got 12 inches of snow, so we canceled the game. Okay, wait. Are you playing it later? Yes. So you didn't cancel it. You postponed it.
Right.
Okay. Canceled means you're not making it up.
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, I didn't know there was a difference. There's a huge difference.
Okay, I will back you up on that because when I was El Presidente of a local women's soccer league.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
A big rainstorm comes in, big old thunderstorm rolls in. We can't play in the field. And I put in, hey, the matches are postponed to a date to be determined. These coaches, now the ladies were fantastic. They were so kind and so nice. It was their husbands that would rile them up. The husbands who were the coaches, they were more drama queens than the ladies who were the players. They were like, what do you mean it's postponed? Is that canceled? And I'm like, no, it's moved to a different date.
Yeah.
And I give some folks the benefit of a doubt. I mean, yes, it was a primarily Hispanic league, and when the crazy part is that, in Hispanic culture, it's degrees of darkness. So it's like, if we want solutions, we're going to go with the lightest skinned guy in the room. That's just kind of how it is. And And I remember sitting around at a table, and my friend Orlando, who was like, he was the commissioner at the time, and he was trying to organize this meeting, and he was like, "Okay, guys, I have other commitments. I can't do this anymore." Just gets up and walks out. These coaches argue for an hour. They sit there and they argue and I argue. And I was like, I was supposed to be there because I was like, okay, the season's coming up. We'll just cover it. We'll do a short story on it, get some hype around it. And because they would bring out like an ice cream guy. Like they bring out an ice cream truck, which was awesome. So they want to know like when they want to come out. So they argue for an hour, and then after about an hour, they all like start looking over at me because I'm the white guy. Like, but no, they didn't know the meaning between canceled and postponed. I was like, no, it's moved to a different day. We will make it up. And they didn't understand that. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are just nitpicky things, man.
They're very
and
nitpicky.
I don't know how we got on that. I don't know how I got on that tangent. It's just I get a lot of texts for scores. And I'm like, we beat this team 52-56. I'm like, no, you didn't. You won 56-52.
Right.
It's just like, it drives me nuts. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on.
Yeah. But I would say, I think this is a really good time. We have quite a few stories to us. Like,
sure.
What are some of your favorite, like, let's say stories, like covering a game or meeting an interesting person, or even from the road? Like, what would be some of your favorite stories? Ones that you can get away with, like, you know, like if you had to be like, okay, all right, Kale, tell us a story. You're so full of them. You know, what would some of those be?
Yeah, you know, you think that, and then I think back, and I'm like, you know, I can start remembering them until you put me on the spot. But the great story is, I tell this one all the time. I just told it the other day, is you and me in Odessa, Texas.
Oh, yes.
In 2016.
Yeah.
And West Texas A&M is going to play Odessa Permian, or UTPB.
Yeah.
And it's UTPB's inaugural football season. And they're going to have a Saturday night game on what, ESPN Plus?
ESPN 3, yeah.
3, that's what it was. And it's going to be packed at the Ratliff. And it's Saturday night football. And man, they were hyped because it was a big night for them playing the Buffs. And remember, Ben Arbuckle was a quarterback of that team.
He was.
And we went down there, me, you, Lucas, Kenzie, Kent Johnson, all drove down there, Kit Streef, the Kitster.
The Kit, yeah.
Kitster, man. And we get down there, and man, it is storming like crazy. And all of a sudden we look to the west, and there is a F3-4 tornado on the ground just west of Odessa, just barreling down, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, that ain't good. And you're like, no. And they put everybody in the locker rooms. They told fans to get, leave at the moment. And I remember that I told you to take my phone and record Lucas and I and do it like a weather live, right? And you're doing it. And there's a tornado behind us on the ground moving. And then they go, okay, everybody needs to get in the Ratliff bathrooms. And I told you, like, we aren't dying.
We aren't dying in the Ratliff Stadium bathroom.
It's this thing. So you and I took our little rental car and we went north and drove around. You remember I hit that median. Because it was raining so hard.
It was. We were raining cats and dogs.
In that crap rental car I had.
Oh.
But we drove around that dang thing because I remember we were following the Doppler radar.
Right.
And you could see the tornado. And I was like, I'll just drive around it. I'm not, because it was barreling down on Ratliff.
It was.
And I was like, I'm not sitting in a bathroom in Ratliff Stadium.
No.
And if it hits the stadium, because it was crap coming. You know how old that concrete is?
It's old.
And I'm not going to let it fall on me. Huh? No thanks, man. So you and I got in that car and took off. And then the game ended up being Sunday morning at 11 a.m. And remember how nice it was that morning?
It was nice, but it was hot.
It was hot. Yeah.
Still, I was taking pictures down on the field, and like I came up for halftime, and I was drenched in sweat.
You were, but that was a very fun trip. And then this is a fun story, man. So me, my buddy Drew Doherty, who now works for the Houston Texans, we got in this habit of always flipping the light off on people in the bathroom. It's a very immature thing, but we had a blast with it, man. And we would go any bathroom, any arena, any football stadium. Like if you're the last one to walk out, or if you're the one to walk out first, you hit the light on somebody, right? Just to be a jerk. So we do it at the sports office all the time, like at the bathroom at Fox 34 in Lubbock. And I'm at the Gator Bowl one year, and we're at the Gator Bowl, and the Tech's playing Virginia, and I'm in the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium. I don't remember what's the name of that place.
Yeah, it's like TIAA Bank Stadium now.
Tony Khan Stadium.
Tony Khan Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in the bathroom and I'm in there, and Drew didn't even go to the bathroom. He just walks in and flips the light. I'm like, not the Gator Bowl, dude. Come on, have some class. Come on, man. The lights turned off on me at the Gator Bowl. Again, this is a very immature story. That's just the kind of jokes we would play on each other. It didn't matter. Like Jones, any stadium we were in, because this is back when you still had flip lights. The lights didn't come on. So man, we would always kill light. It became a whole game anywhere we went. So one day, you'll love this. So this was like a year ago. Drew is at because he's a reporter for the Texans Online, right? And so I talk to Drew maybe once, twice a year still. Drew is in Jacksonville covering Houston and Jacksonville. And I get this video on my text message, and I'm looking at it from Drew, and he's just walking with his phone. And all of a sudden, he goes in the bathroom, and you see the door open, and he just flips the light, and you hear two people just go, "Hey!" And he just flipped the light on some dude in the Jacksonville bathroom press box.
Oh,
and he
man.
just goes, he's like, hashtag old time save. Right?
Oh man.
Yeah. Stupid boy stuff, but it was fun, man.
Yeah.
It was just fun because
it didn't really hurt anybody, so
no, but it would piss you off.
It would. It would.
Especially if you're taking a number 2,
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh man.
Yeah. But it's just things like that. But yeah, I got a ton of. Lance Lauder and I drove back one night. Yeah, we went to Wichita Falls and covered Canadian and Mark, and it was 45 degrees and humid. I've never felt it. It was gross. And we were driving back to Amarillo that night. And, a lot of Wichita Falls trips were late, and we were driving back, and it was like at midnight, and it was foggy. Dude, I don't think we topped out at 55 but once.
Oh, really?
It took about 5 hours to get back to Amarillo from Wichita Falls. It was miserable. So this thing, I've had a few of those. And when it comes to games, it's hard to pinpoint a game, Tyler. There's so many, I'm not good at that. I've never counted them. I've never wrote them down. I should have. It'd have been a great book.
Yeah.
But I've been bad at that. I know Texas in 08 was fun. Tyler,
I can't imagine. For those who are younger or not sports ball people, like the 2008 Texas Tech game was like our Super Bowl. Everybody was hyping for it.
Dude, it's the best moment in Texas Tech football history. It's even better than this year. You know, like they made it play. Just the precedence of beating Texas at that moment and almost being number 1 in the country. Jones Stadium was as electric as it's ever been. I don't think people understand how great a moment it was, especially now.
Yeah.
But there's so many great games, and I've been fortunate to be a part of some great games. I remember the first game I ever shot. You like this one? 2001. I'm an intern with Channel 7. Actually, not even an intern. I'm just doing Friday night scores.
Yeah.
Like I come in on Fridays for Baker, and I call places to get scores.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all my job is. I work from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the Blitz. Well, I told Baker, hey, I'd like to learn how to do some stuff. So he had Paul Tubbs start teaching me how to shoot video. So one night it was like 9:30, and Muleshoe and Childress had gone to overtime at Bivens in the by-district round. And he's like, Baker's like, hey, I need you to go down and shoot the overtime, fourth quarter and overtime of Childress Muleshoe. And I'm like, okay, I've never shot on my own, so I'm scared to death. He goes, you messed this up. I don't know if I'll ever let you shoot again.
Oh, snap. Oh.
So I'm scared to death. And I get down there, and luckily, I got the game-winning touchdown and came back, and and I'm all proud of myself, right? Hey, Lee, I got it. All Lee is like, good, thanks. Give me the tape.
Do you bring that up to Lee every now and then?
Oh yeah. I used to, yes. Lee's like me. He remembers some, he doesn't remember others. It's just like, but yeah, Lee remembers that to a point. He doesn't remember like I remember it,
Yeah.
because it wasn't dramatic to him, It it was my first time. You know how it was your first time in a big crunch element?
Yeah.
You know, a deadline. You're scared to death. You're sweating. Lee, that's every day, right? So he was just like, give me the tape, thanks. And I'm like, I did it.
I did it. I did it.
I got the shot. And he just like, okay, good. Way to go, kid.
Thanks. I think that reminds me of when we were covering McLean's state championship.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun ride.
And that was a really fun ride. That was a fun experience. I think one of the most... This is where I somehow became superhuman. So, like, I remember, what was it? It was like the regional editor at the time. They were like, talk about, like, the impact of McLean's winning a championship on the community. So I think it was like right in the fourth quarter, and I think you brought that up to me, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I remember that, yeah.
And I went into the crowd. I grabbed somebody who was like part of like a 1953 like district championship team, because they didn't really do state championships back then. They just did districts, and they did kind of like an AP, like it was like a mythical state championship or whatever. And I grabbed I grabbed a quote from Coach Lehman when he was down in the
Clint Lemon.
Yeah,
Clint Lemon?
yeah, Lemon. Yep.
Yeah.
For the press conference, and I think either Ben Crockett or Chisholm Henderson said something about that, and then I grabbed this random guy from the crowd.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I pumped out that story in like 10 minutes.
I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah.
I was like, you seen the gif of like the cat, like basically like, just pounding the crap out of the keyboard. That was me, like at AT&T Stadium, like trying to kick out this story. I don't know how well it came out. I just know that it came out.
I remember it was a good story for what you had time to do. Yeah, it was great. I remember having to come and tell you that. I forgot.
Yeah.
I did that, but I remember now. Isn't it weird now? Because you've been in media for so long as a writer. Isn't it weird when you have time to sit back like we do now, and you can write a good game story compared to when you had to crank one out in about an hour?
Oh, yeah.
It's different, huh?
It is completely different. So that's a great segue, by the way. What do you feel has changed from when you started to now?
That's a great question, man. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one. Our deadlines aren't harsh, and
Yeah.
I'm still now we're still responsible. And when I say that, it's like I don't have to post a story at midnight, because when you look at our analytics, everybody loves that word now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like especially college football coaches, they love analytics. Like, I'm going for it on 4th and 4 because the analytics say.
Yes.
Our analytics say if you post at midnight, man, it ain't gonna matter if you post it at midnight or 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
or 10 a.m. Right? Like, we have to look at when our readership is, and so we're still very disciplined, and we're still very, aware to when to post, but we don't have to turn around and post it. Everybody's like, well, you have to have it now. Well, do you? Because you have to look at what time it is. If the game's at 3:00, sure, and it's over at 6, yeah, I might get it out by 8 or 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the game's over, like basketball, let's take high school basketball, Tyler. The game's over at 10:30. Who's reading that at midnight?
Not a lot of people.
No.
Usually it's like the next morning, like a 5 a.m. or a 6 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll try to be responsible and disciplined and get it out by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, anytime that morning. But our readership is really strong from like 9 to 4 or 4 to 7, right? I mean, so that's changed a lot for me. So the deadlines aren't as harsh. I think also, now social media wise has changed everything, because, when you used to have a really strong story, you would sit on it, and now you can't, or you're going to get burned, which to me, I'm not worried about that as much anymore as I used to be. No. But it's just social media has made it to where it's so fluid now and it's so fast. But I hope I'm making sense here. I'm trying
to me.
I'm trying to think out loud. And I think it's the fluid of, like, say, take local news today. 6 and 10 so far away from like something happening at 2 o'clock, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's hard to sit on anything if you have it really good.
Yeah.
But again, the discipline for me, for a website guy, just be disciplined, but you don't have to be harsh on your deadlines.
Yeah. Because I remember plenty of times where, you know, like where I could sit on a story for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if like something was urgent, I'd kick it out as fast as I could. Like,
sure.
This happened to me a few years ago. So it was the organ maker in town, world renowned. They have organs all over the world. Based out in this town I worked in. And the building caught fire, and we just got done putting our paper to bed. We got done with our paper. It was all shoved out to print, and I went home for the day. I was like, cool, like run of the mill Tuesday. I get a call from my boss, and
sorry.
Oh, it's okay, no worries. I get a call from my boss, and she's like, Tyler, I think the community building's on fire. And the community building was under like renovation at the time, and they were using a lot of wood. So maybe something like a spark caught the wood on fire. We find out it was Dobson Pipe Organ Builders, which is the world renowned the organ builder in town right across the street. And what had happened was there's a pile of sawdust, because they work with wood, they work with like everything, and there was a faulty fan that caused a spark and basically just hit the sawdust pile. And we talked to the guy that like tried to put it out. He had some burns from it. Super nice guy though. He survived. He did okay. He got out while he could. But I was like the first media outlet on the scene, getting photos, being there right alongside the firefighters. And the cool thing is all the local firefighters, they all did other things because they were all volunteers. They weren't professionals. I mean, you can't have professional firefighters like in small town Iowa, so it's all volunteers. And so they all knew me, so I would walk like right alongside them, you know, get pictures of them spraying the water and everything like that. And I remember talking to the fire chief in town, Lynn Boyd, still a good friend of mine to this day, and he's doing good. And grabbed some quick quotes from him, and grabbed some other quotes from some other folks as well, because I think the owner, he went home and he just retired. The guy that helped start it, I grabbed some quick quotes from him. And then I remember that night, I went home, I wrote up the story, I kicked it out before 6, so I was like, I need to beat the 6 o'clock news. And because I started doing social media posts, so that's when a lot of people started knowing about it. And like I kicked that out as fast as I could, and it got me best breaking news, and it got me best breaking news photo. And I never take credit for being like, oh man, you know, I got there as, you know, I was just at the right place at the right time. And it was unfortunate. Like the award's great, but to see a historic building burn down sucked. Like, yeah, because I felt for all those people that worked there. I knew a lot of people that worked there. You know, the mayor of Lorville even worked at the place. So like I got to know them through covering their city council. And but they rebuilt. They stayed in town. They built a brand new building. They cleaned it all out. They built a brand new building. They're doing really good. They're doing fantastic now. They got the building to their specifications, which they needed to build organs because they're huge. They're for these massive churches. And but yeah, that was one of those things. It's just, you know, it wasn't me being like intrepid or anything. It was me being there at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those in news myself, man. Mm-hmm. I probably shouldn't have been where I was supposed to be, but you know, another thing I wanted to say, great story, but another thing I wanted to say too, you asked me another thing of what's different now. One thing I do enjoy now is my freedom. And you know, when you're your own boss, you kind of can do things that you see that put your wrinkle on how you wanted it to go. So now, like, I enjoy, you know, how and I take the pattern of how Lance taught me and how Lee does it, and you know, and you know, we do this still kind of as a Globe News pattern to some degree, but in some degree, I'd make it more than just writing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it more video driven. So I brought Lee Baker on to interview coaches. I think Lee's a great name to have to interview coaches, because what a better guy to have interviewing coaches. I think getting on with Clint Breakbill with Channel 4 and partnering with him and doing that Friday night show we do called What We Learned.
That was cool.
It's been a fun show to do, just to kind of give people some, something they didn't maybe know. So, we're getting to do our own passion projects at the same time of doing everyday sports, because that's the thing you're still doing. You're still trying to drive out everyday news. Mm-hmm. But it's still getting to do your own fun things at the same time. And it's trying to make it more video driven as much as writing driven.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Because, humans were visual creatures.
Very visual creatures, yes.
Yeah.
And our attention spans are like this.
We kid ourselves at press, we kid ourselves, you and me, that Lee Baker is the most seasoned rookie that ever conceived.
It's interesting, dude. It's like sometimes, and I love Lee, but technology's passed him by, which is, I'm not good at it either, but man, sometimes it's like his first day. And I'm like, dude, you've been doing this 40 something years. How do you not know this?
However, I'll defend Baker for a second. I'll defend him. So he has such a talent, because he's flipping through, when we went on we need to get it sponsored. I'm going to try to help you get it sponsored, Kale, because it's too good. But when we go on the road trips and we go to the two-a-days,
the old Dairy Queen tour.
Yes, the old DQ tour, which I never understood why it never got sponsored by Dairy Queen, but I digress.
Yeah. It should be the Allsup's tour now.
It should be. Yeah. Joe just has to give me permission to reach out to Allsup's.
There you go.
But I remember all three of us in the car, and I'm sitting in the back because we can't hear Lee because he's such a church.
Well, he can't hear you. He can't hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and Lee, he's flipping through the Dave Campbell's magazine, and he's doing his 2-minute, I call it 2-minute research.
Yeah.
And when he gets on with the coach, he does the interview and everything, it comes off natural.
Oh, I know. And he just learned it in the car.
He just learned it just like that. It was that's I feel like is Lee Baker's true talent. Is just when the camera's on, man, he's on. It's so good.
But it cracked us up. We got to give Lee a little hard time. How many stories start with golf about Lee?
All the time. It's either golf or it's goat ranches.
Yeah, I was on the golf course the other day, and I think most golf courses are goat ranches. So. I love it that we'd be in the car and he'd be like, I was talking to my buddy Skipper. I'm talking to my buddy Hank. We're at Ross Rogers. It always starts on the golf course.
Always starts. Yeah, I remember, what was it, the second or the third day in, and I was like, Kale, I think most of Lee's stories revolve around golf courses.
They do.
They all have a pattern.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so looking forward to, just being able to convince Baker to, hop on Unfiltered. Because
he'll do it.
And then what we could do is we could do a counter of all of his stories that involve golf, either golf or golf courses. I might have to keep a counter down on the corner.
I'd love to see Baker on the show, because I think he could bring a lot to it too.
Yeah,
seriously, he would just be great at but he's a great storyteller.
He is. He's really and I think a lot of people don't realize how funny.
Oh,
either intentionally or unintentionally Lee is.
Oh, yeah. It's old school funny too.
Old school funny.
It might go over a lot of some people's heads, but man.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's either on the golf course or that used to be a goat ranch.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you ever played this? I never played that goat ranch. Yeah.
And you're not.
Tyler, what else would you like to talk about? Hey, Cody Rhodes would say, what do you want to talk about? What else do you want to talk about today?
Oh, you are huge into pro wrestling.
I am huge pro wrestling. I'm a lot different than you, but yes, very much so. As a true fan, yeah.
Yes. So, I knew that. I grew up with pro wrestling. I'm sure you grew up with pro wrestling. Rick's grown up with pro wrestling. But I think for today, like, I would say, what are some things that you like about the products now, and what are some things that you don't like?
Okay, that's a great question. What I like is, man, I love the athletes. I think, people get that word fake, and it drives me nuts because these guys and gals are true athletes of their craft, like any sport, right? And you have to be an athletic person, or you have to have some kind of skill to be in that ring and do what they do. And I think, even though sometimes pro wrestling is the least thing about pro wrestling, is when you get two guys or two girls in the ring that can go and work in a certain way, not the gymnastics work, but the work in a wrestling ring. We're doing wrestling holds and doing wrestling moves. I think is the greatest thing in the world to me. I'm a huge fan. I love storytelling. I'm a huge fan of drama, right? Like in the storytelling, that male soap opera they tell you.
Yep.
And when you have a good lead to a good story, you can hook me. Like the other night with CM Punk and Roman Reigns, man, you had me hooked. Like on Monday Night Raw, when those two did what they did for 10 minutes in their promo, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the match. You sold me. Thank you. What I don't like, there's too much of it. You can watch it 7 days a week. There's a dependent scene, and I'm not against any of them having a job. Trust me. But there's a lot of it, and you could consume too much, and you can see through a lot of it because a lot of it's not good.
Right.
And you know exactly what I'm saying. When I see through it, it's like they're trying to memorize their next spot, which that should not be how wrestling is. I don't like the fan base on the internet. I think it's a joke. It's embarrassing. It's a bunch of, I'm just going to say it, it's a bunch of virgins that live in their mom's basements. I hate to be that way.
They need to go out and touch grass.
Touch grass, dude. They argue about the stupidest stuff. It's like during the Royal Rumble. And I'm watching the Royal Rumble, and I said, I'm not going to get on, so I told my wife, I'm not going to get on social media until after the show. Well, I get on after the show, and what are they arguing about? Are people in the seats or not? Like, it was confusing to tell if there were people in the seats. Yes, but I don't care. I'm not going to argue about it because I'm not in Saudi Arabia. So why do I care? What do I care?
And 5 years ago, nobody could be at those events because of, because of COVID. So why are you complaining?
Yeah, so the fan base is in the way they go to airports, and it's not just wrestling fans. Fans in general go to airports and stalk these athletes, celebrities is weird to me. And again, at this, I love wrestling. I love the stories, and I don't have a preference. I like either one. Like the other day, I'll tell you this, man. You'll appreciate this. I thought AEW show Dynamite was the best show this week, and because he had this Andrade storyline that's really good to me, and they got this good chase to MJF's world title. I thought Raw had a really good segment with CM Punk and Reigns. Outside of that, I didn't think it was great. I thought SmackDown wasn't just the best. There was a couple things you could take out of it, but as a show, I thought Dynamite was good. So I like to watch all of it and just see how, I'm very chill about it, though. I'm not going to sit here and go, quit burying my favorite wrestler. I'm not that kind of person, right?
Yeah, push LA Knight,
Yeah, push LA Knight, or I'm going to quit watching.
Yeah. What I feel like is...
How about you? Because you're a deeper wrestling fan than I am. You've been around it a lot longer.
Yeah, it's become more innate now. Some of my favorite parts, I would say some of my favorite parts is like, the independents aren't as strong as they used to be, but if you can find a good independent, and that's why I keep pushing Squared Circle Pro, and I try to do the SCP Hangover, is the wrestling doesn't have to be the greatest, but if the storytelling's really good and really well done, it makes up for it really quick. And it really helps that all the guys are they're technically sound. Tyler, can I piggyback off that?
Sure. When I was in Georgia, when I go see my family in Georgia, my wife's family, I'll go to Royston, and they have the Squared Circle Action and Anarchy Wrestling, and they have it in this old Royston Dome, which is a middle school gym.
Oh, the Royston Dome.
But it sounds so much better. But there's about 8 different promotions within 40 miles of Serena's parents' house. And it's actually really good independent pro wrestling. And, like at this show I was at, I actually did a story on it. It's called Hardcore Hell. And I did a story about independent wrestling there and these guys. And they said AJ Styles wrestled in this promotion back in the day and donated the ring that they're in now.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, so you see like that Georgia promotion, I thought was very good independently.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, like good in, like if you could find a really good independent, I would certainly suggest checking them out.
How is Squirrel Circle? Somebody that hasn't watched it, what am I missing? What do I need to see in Squirrel Circle Pro?
I feel like it brings a lot of bang for your buck. Like for $10, and I mean, yeah, you could probably, I mean, you can get refreshments. There's food in the cafe of Jake's.
Yeah, because it's at Jake's, right?
Yeah, it's at Jake's. So one of my favorite things is just the storytelling within the ring and actually beyond the ring. Because right now they're engaging in a civil war. It's for the control of Squared Circle Pro, and it's the LC administration against TJ Mundell's. I just call it the Mundell Coalition, and it's these two authority figures. They're trying to battle it out for control of the company, and we're seeing guys that are starting to align themselves with either one of these factions.
Yeah, with each side, right?
Yep. And,
okay, you're hooking me, dude. Just by telling me.
And some of these guys, like some of them switch sides, but it does have rhyme and reason behind it. There's a lot of young talent that are probably going to make their names known someday. They're actually being involved, and with Lubbock Pro Wrestling 101, that's the school, and they even have their own title belt, like. And these rookies, like these kids coming in now, these guys and girls coming in now, they're so technically sound. Like are they gonna deliver like 5-star matches on the Meltzer scale? No, but they could.
I would rather have a good story than a 5-star match on the Meltzer scale.
Absolutely. And they, you could tell they bust their asses. You could tell that they're in it. You could tell that they were trained well. Big props to Phoenix and who and Brian Rage Rivera, who are the two main teachers at the school. They are not only phenomenal people, they're phenomenal human beings. I always try to, when I go down to a Squared Circle Pro, I always try to talk to Phoenix, and I always try to talk to Brian, and I'm always talking New York sports with Brian because he's a big New York sports fan. He's from the Bronx. That's Brian.
Goodness.
And then
is he Yankees or Mets? Yankees.
He's a Yankees guy.
Figured.
Yep, he's a Yankees guy. I think the last conversation I had with him was like, I know they have like Bench Warmers has these like tank tops that you could probably wear. You could probably wear one of those. Wouldn't that be really cool? And he was like, yeah, that is really cool. And I showed him the website and everything. And then Joe is just a family man. He used to be a Marine. I don't think you could say a former Marine. You're once a Marine, always a Marine. Great family. It's like usually his wife and like, at least 2 or 3 of his kids, they man the merchandise booth. So they're completely involved. And Phoenix has grown so much as a human being. Like he used to be kind of egotistical, but now he's like one of the most down to earth people you'll ever meet. Yeah.
When's the next show? The
next show is, I believe, March 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
No February show.
No February show. So they'll be in. Yeah, they'll be in March. They run every other month at Jake's.
Okay.
Yeah, so they run every other month, and then I think they're starting to get Lubbock Pro Wrestling 101 to take up the other month.
Oh,
and they have their own storylines. Yeah.
Cool. Well, really cool. You kind of got me hooked on this Civil War thing. I'm going to check this out.
Yeah, the Civil War is really cool. The LC administration, and then I'd have to look up the name of.
Now is Rick's the heel?
Rick's the bad guy. Yep.
Yeah, I've got to go for Rick, man, because I just like Rick. I don't care if he's heel or not.
Yeah, and
I ride with Rick.
Just a disclaimer for the youngins out there: even though people do bring their kids, it's not really a show for kids. It's very, I wouldn't say like it's highly, it's risque or anything like in that department. It's just adult, it's blood.
Is it? Yeah, I was about to say violent.
Yeah, there's blood, there's strong language. So yeah, so just be aware of that when you walk in. But I mean, for both of us, it don't bother us. I mean, we come from an industry that, behind closed doors, people curse like sailors.
I was watching, you'll like this. I was watching AJ Styles' podcast with Stephanie McMahon the other day.
Yeah.
And I was dying laughing, and I thought about you because he doesn't say the F word, right? Like he says other words, but he doesn't say the F word unless he's really mad.
Yeah.
And Stephanie's like, how have you been in the wrestling business this long and not say the F word? He goes, it's hard because when you're playing in a match, it's like, I'm going to go this effing way and I'm going to go this effing way and you're going to go this effing way.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing AJ say this, and I can only imagine sitting in the back and listening to those guys lay a match out, how many F words that are being used. Why they're telling this, I'm gonna throw you against the effing ropes, and then you're gonna kick me in the effing face. I mean, just can you imagine?
Yeah, I can't imagine that, to be honest with you. Just like my grandmother always taught me, and I never got to finish the thought when I was on Crash Out Connoisseurs like a few shows ago.
Sure.
My grandmother always taught me there's way better words to use than the curse words. So, when they're like, oh yeah, I need you to bounce off the effing ropes and you're going to take an effing clothesline or whatever. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, hey, like I'm just going to take out the ropes, be ready for a clothesline, just simple stuff. But then again,
yeah, I think it's just all, we start learning cuss words at such a young age, really. I mean,
we think they're cool.
You do. Because I started cussing, about 7 or 8 years old. Steve Forrest and I were walking down the streets of Canada cussing away. And Albert Lusby and I were cussing away. And it just, it becomes ingrained in you early. And now it just becomes a normal part of your verbiage, right? Like your everyday life in your speech. And I try really hard not to.
Yeah.
But man, it just slips all the time. It's so hard.
Yeah, and we have to be so careful about it, especially if we're like, let's say in front of a camera or I mean,
like right now, I've tried this entire show. I've worked really hard. I'm proud of that.
That's why a lot of people are like, can we cuss on the show? And I'm like, yes, that's fine. If that's, if it's the most comfortable way for you to talk, yes. On Crash Out Connoisseurs, yes, I do cuss a little bit, but it's out of like frustration because these people could do way better and they just can't help themselves.
Yeah. I made a pact for myself today: no language.
Yeah,
it's like I'm going to speak good, and I'm not.
We got to set good examples.
Yeah, exactly. There might be somebody watching that looks up to us. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I don't want to try to be that guy today. Tyler, I want to ask you a question, man. What's in store before we get out of here today? What's in store for year 2 on your podcast?
For season 2.
Season 2, sorry.
Season 2. I'm really looking forward to bringing back a lot of people, which includes you. Includes Rick.
I think you need to get guys like Lee and Baker, and I think Clinton Brickbill would be great on here too.
Yes, I'm trying to. I wanted to complete the KA Mark trifecta.
Yeah.
And that's a promise I kept with Corin because Corin's like, you better bring all 3 of us from KMR before you bring in anybody else.
Yeah.
But no, like I'll reach out to some more. I'll be reaching out to some more internet personalities. I've already connected with Dalton Pruitt. I think I'm gonna bring him on. He's a comedian. He's out of Dallas of all places. Believe it or not, Kale, he came from Pampa.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has family in Pampa. So that was very interesting to know. So he dunks on the panhandle whenever he can, but I'm like, Dalton, it's really not that bad. There's a reason why I came back to the panhandle.
There's a lot worse places to live, trust me.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of worse places to live.
Yeah.
A lot of, I still got some sports ball people. I still got some like bucket list people I got to cross off. Lee Baker, Lance Leinert being 2 of them. Clint being another one. bring on some.
Passport's a really good interview.
Yeah, Passmore is definitely on that list. I'd like to do some more just like hangouts, like Tyler Liger and Friends. Yeah, kind of base that off the whole Garfield and Friends whole gimmick. You know, and then I want to do a Liger Mania. So around WrestleMania.
I'm in on that.
Yeah, we'll do a Liger Mania, and I already have the logo all dressed up and everything. And now it's like, okay, all right, you know, because I wanted to use these episodes, you know, to like the first season to introduce you, to introduce Rick, introduce Rex, and introduce a lot of people that I would be like, yeah, I definitely would bring them back. Dave the Thinker is another really good one. And then reach out to some different internet personalities as well to bring them on. And like I got 26 episodes to fill. So
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for it, and keep doing it, man, because it's you've always talked to me about wanting to do this. It's a passion deal to you, and I can tell you put a lot into it. I'm happy for you, man. I'm proud of you. Always am.
Oh, well, I thank you so much. You know, like it is kind of hard, especially when like a guest like reschedules, but you understand. Or in the case of, I tried bringing on an internet personality by the name of PWR, and I've told this story at least twice now, but I was trying to bring him on. I thought he was doing okay, and then he was on Kick, probably the night we were supposed to pre-record for the show, and you know, he was snorting snow. He was like, he was snorting snow, and he was getting inebriated. He on stream, and
he was hitting rails on his stream.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he was like, you know, dude, I gotta have this interview. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. Like, but I gotta do it. Like, he's very professional, because I went about it very professionally. I was like, hey, I'd love to have you on.
You can't do that when he's got
a Coke mustache. He ghosted me when we were supposed to pre-record the show.
Oh,
and then he messages me about 90 minutes before, and he was like, you know, I stepped on some glass last night. This is exactly how he sounds. Like, you know, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I gotta, can we reschedule because I stepped on some glass last night and ended up in the hospital. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. We'll reschedule. That's fine. So, I mean, Rick came in and he swooped in, and Rick's always a blast to have on the show. And then I find out that, cause I was like, okay, all right. Cause he was doing a Shawn Michaels appreciation show. And he got a little too, what he calls hot. He got too hot for the show. And it ended up being a disaster stream for him because he got banned from Kick for about 3 days. And Kick's a little more, I would say a little more spicier than YouTube or Twitch. Those are the other streaming platforms. And I was like, okay, all right, maybe he just got like a little too, like he had a little too much fun. And I took him at his word. And then on Monday when I tried to promote him, it was brought to my attention that he was, because I didn't know any of this. Like it was a former producer for Drama Alert and for It's a Gundam, and he was like, yeah, he was snorting snow, and he got banned for that reason. And I reached out to the guy personally. I was like, hey, I am so sorry. Like I was none the wiser, and he forgave me. But yeah, like I hated it when people were like, oh yeah, PWR, he's going to be on this little wrestling podcast. And I was like, well, I mean, we were going to talk a little wrestling because he loves old school wrestling. He loves the Monday Night Wars. He loves the Attitude Era. But I mean, I'm a guy that talks about everything and anything.
Sure. Well, I wouldn't let other people. Who cares what they say, man?
Yeah, and
don't let them dictate.
I don't think much of it. I was like, okay. Well, I mean, it's not like I go and like in rage post or rage tweet at these people and be like, well, no, that's not entirely the truth. I was just like, it's whatever. It's fine. But yeah, it turned out okay because that's how CJ found me. And then, well, we got Crash Out Connoisseurs now where CJ and I talk about, Cyrax, and I'm sure I've dropped Cyrax, name drop Cyrax around you a couple times, along with Darkside Phil. But yeah, they're a circus, so we constantly cover them.
All right.
But other than that, yeah, expect some surprises, expect some really fun guests, expect some awesome returns or returners.
You start sounding like Triple H, dude. You going in a new era?
Yeah, we're going into a new
era. Surprises, epic. Are you using all these buzzwords? I can't keep up with
them. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to hype up all my friends.
Tyler, I'm giving you hell.
Oh yeah. It's all good. I'm really happy to make it like 26 episodes in to complete a full TV season. And then I'll come back in March. We'll still keep Crash Out Connoisseurs because we don't really serialize them like we do with Unfiltered. So, but yeah, and that'll run from March all the way until I think next October. Yeah, another 26 weeks.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I appreciate you having me on today, Tyler. Thanks for letting me tell my stuff and about Press Pass. I'll always take that. Thanks for all you do for Press Pass and helping me. And thanks for more importantly, thanks for being a very good friend all the time.
Well, hey, I appreciate you not only for, being my mentor, but like one of my very best friends. Like,
sure.
I can tell you anything. Like, there's a lot of things like I won't tell the internet. Or I won't tell like people just when I meet them. But there's always stuff that I could tell you and I could feel secure and confident telling you those things because I know I'll get honest feedback. So
always, buddy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
But check out Press Pass Sports, presspass.news.
There you go.
That's the address name. You can find Kale. You can find me. You can find the awesome art from Roy Wheeler, Carter Pirtle, Elisa Chavez, Joe Garcia especially. So many really great.
James Abel.
Yeah, James Abel. We can't forget about James because he's fantastic. David Erickson's another one. All these guys, they're all superstars. Craig contributes as well. He's
unbelievable. Craig's the best, man.
He is like the sixth man. He is if you need a go-to guy for six-man football, he's your guy.
Craig's so smart. And he's so, and he's more. I mean, six man's genius, but Craig has done a lot for Press Pass in a lot of ways, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate Craig, man.
Yeah. And then of course, there'll be the occasional Lance, Lance, who we, and for those who don't know, Lance juggles a lot of stuff too.
He does.
Yeah, he does the sports drive. Or the sports drive. He has a really dramatic voice for it.
The drive at 5.
The drive at 5. And then he helps Press Pass Sports, and then he shows up with his, after a football game, which we probably won't see until next fall, he shows up with his Star Spangled Jacket. So,
yep.
And then, of course, Lee Baker, the man, the myth, the legend, and Lee Passmore, we got to Lee P. We know him as Lee P. Lee P. But yeah, I think Kale and I we're gonna sign off and we're gonna enjoy the Super Bowl, man. Before we go, Patriots or Seahawks?
Price. I want the Patriots to win.
Okay,
but I'll take the Seahawks.
I picked the Patriots on the extra point with Ryan Justice.
Yeah.
Because we live in the worst timeline.
True.
And other than that, I have no dog in the fight. So I'm just there to enjoy a football game.
I just hope both teams have fun, Tyler.
Yep, me too. I think Ray Gun up in Des Moines, they have shirts that say, I hope both teams have fun.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for having me, Tyler, and you have a great day.
You betcha. You too. All right. We will, I'm going to take a little break for the next few weeks. We will have Crash Out Connoisseurs. And yeah, we're gonna rock and roll. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the Super Bowl commercials and all, Bad Bunny and all. And yeah, y'all have a great rest of the week. We will see you soon.
Great show, Tyler. Thank you. Have a great day. Hey, when are you posting this?